pharmaceutical compounds and compositions that are useless tissue protectants, such as neuroprotectants and cardioprotectants. So essentially, what it's dealing with is, any sort of diseases such as age-related diseases, inflammatory or autoimmune diseases. The U.S. government believes that cannabinoids have been found to have these antioxidant properties. And more importantly, we're also seeing that in terms of the cannabinoids, they are able to limit neurological damage that's being found with victims that suffer from any sort of stroke or trauma, or even have neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and even HIV dementia. So this is coming straight from the U.S. Patent Office, and the patent, it's held by the United States of America as represented by the Department of Health and Human Services.
And so, just for everyone's sake, that the hypocrisy behind the United States government prohibition on marijuana, and yet the fact that they hold a patent on some of the antioxidant and neuroprotective benefits of marijuana is just utter craziness. Titus, don't you have friends who have personal experiences with relatives?
Yeah, I do. Well, one of my friends is me. I fractured my shoulder in 17 places 24 years ago while I was in the VA's office in a biking accident, and I have a complete shoulder replacement. And 5 years ago or 7 years ago, when they allowed medical marijuana to come in, I waited, but after 3 years, I have a chronic pain in the shoulder. If you ever get a chance to see me, I have a huge scar in my arm, and it felt like you have a severely pulled hamstring all the time. That's how my shoulder felt. And so when I take medical marijuana, it actually relieves that pain. I think it makes me a more creative lawyer. That's just a side effect. I often tell people, and who knew I needed to be on an antidepressant? But, leave all of that aside. I also have another client, and I can't disclose his name, but, he has his grandfather who has Alzheimer's on marijuana. And I have seen this man, he gives him edibles, seen this man on marijuana and off of marijuana. And it's legal to give people that. I'm not sure it's legal if they have dementia like he has. But the bottom line is that this old man becomes complacent and happy and nice, and otherwise he is angry and bitter and feels as if his whole life has gone down the tubes. So the ability for it to control pain and do the things that the government has that patent for, I completely believe in. I have personal, anecdotal knowledge. Of course, the government has stopped anybody from doing any real testing, right? I mean,
that's it. And yet under the Controlled Substances Act, the federal government declares marijuana Schedule 1 because it has no medical benefit, and yet the federal government has patents stating its medical benefits. Titus, unfortunately, this is going to have to be it for us today. We're going to have you back on very soon, my friend. You have been a ball. Just to kind of wrap us up, though, we've been talking about a lot of the negatives of the drug war. We've been talking about some positives of current, reform efforts and legalization efforts across these states in the West and then across the country. What message would you like to leave us with, and what would you like us to take away for the future?
I would just like to say you guys are on the side of the angels. I hope you make millions and billions of dollars, because you are going to actually help us move forward as a people, as a nation, as a world. I mean, this all needs to be thought through. I'm also on the board of NORML here in Colorado. We are laying the ground rules, creating the regulations so that the tax revenue goes to us and that money doesn't go to the drug cartels. We're trying to make it safe. We're trying to make it safe so it doesn't get in the hands of kids. We're trying to get at the truth. And, of course, we're fighting a bunch of people who have barely been programmed and brainwashed by a whole industry called the drug war. And those people are paid for by the government. And they've perpetuated a bunch of lies. They have no proof your brain becomes an egg on this, but they put that on national television.
Yeah.
They have no proof. They get to say whatever they want. And we're fighting, and the implications of what you do is going to reach so deeply into us as let's just start with the nation, just the nation. And, what we have done, just as a quick aside, there's something called the Singleton Convention, which requires every nation in the world to prohibit these drugs. And any nation that doesn't do that gets their foreign aid cut, gets invaded, as in Panama. So, we are beginning now, some nations are saying, well, you're not obeying your own convention, so we're not going to follow it either. So we're beginning to open up the world to a whole new way of thinking that this is a health issue. This is not a criminal issue. These people, the little book we all read about the Scarlet Letter, remember we all read that?
Right.
We've stigmatized a bunch of people who, whether they're on heroin, I don't see any difference between heroin, people shooting up every day with that, and somebody shooting up for diabetes. It's a health problem. They're addicted to this stuff. Let's deal with their addiction. Let's not lock them up and create a bunch of nonsense jobs to do that. So anyway, that's the message. You guys are on the side of the angels. You're doing the right thing.
We love it. Thank you, Titus. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to talk with you soon, my friend. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'd like to give one final thanks to Titus-Peterson, our first and, as of right now, most special guest on Cannabis and Commerce. For more information about our Green Consulting Group, you can visit our website at greenbiz.com, GREENE biz.com. Read our blog. Check out our website, contact us with any ideas, and everyone out there, keep fighting for more freedom. See you soon.
The opinions and thoughts expressed by the Green Consulting Group and its guests on this radio show do not constitute legal or other professional advice on any matter. We always recommend that listeners seek the advice of independent counsel. The opinions expressed on this Cannabis Radio Network program are those of the guests and hosts, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Cannabis Radio Network. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without proper consent of the Cannabis Radio Network is prohibited.